Our next guest was one of the first people to lift the lid on the crisis in Darfur, opening the eyes of the world to the suffering and starvation affecting millions of people there. That was 10 years ago. Today, Dr. Mukesh Kapila, the UN's former envoy to Sudan, you can see him here on the right-hand side of the screen, has another stark warning. Now, he is back from a 1,000-kilometer trip through Sudan's Nuba Mountains. That's this region right here, as well as through the Blue Nile region. This is an area that's basically in the middle of a war zone because for the past 18 months there's been this armed conflict between the Sudanese government and opposition groups that has been raging on. What happens is that the farmland in the areas has been totally destroyed by government bombing, which forces starving people to survive on things like just roots and leaves. Dr. Kapila says that 2.5 million Sudanese people have next to no access to aid, and he's also warning that the scale of the crisis could turn into a new Darfur. Dr. Kapila is with us now in the studio. He joins us. Thank you so much. Tell us a little bit more what exactly you saw on this trip.
I was shocked to see that the whole countryside in Nuba and Blue Nile is virtually cleansed of its people. Mile upon mile upon mile of burnt fields, villages, water wells, clinics, marketplaces all destroyed, and people cowering in caves or in the bush.
Why is the government doing this?
Well, it's consistent with its well-established policy of terrorizing people of black ethnic origin. After all, Bashir calls his citizens in Nuba black plastic bags, and in Blue Nile black plastic bags, and in Nuba they've been called insects, with instructions to clear the land. Following the ethnic cleansing, then the lands are inhabited by other tribes of his own kind, and this is in essence a ethnically directed genocidal acts.
What kind of resistance is there to the government?
Yeah. I was impressed to see that despite all the tribulation and all the starvation now that is also stalking the land, people are in good mood. They said to me that they're fed up with running away, and they are mounting their resistance in their own way. But of course, with no humanitarian aid going in and Antonovs terrorizing them every day, it's a very, very precarious existence.
Do they have weapons? Do they have external support? Are they organized into a rebel group?
Yes, I was impressed. I think the forces of the Sudanese Revolutionary Front, including the SPLA North, are actually well organized. They have captured a lot of weaponry from Khartoum, and they are mounting a strong resistance. Do
they have any support from South Sudan? Because, as you know, for years, the South and the North have battled up until South Sudan received its own independence. Are they getting advice, weapons, help from Salva Kiir and anyone there?
South Sudan denies that, of course, and I saw no evidence that that is happening. However, it would be unsurprising if there were not close links between these people and the people in South Sudan.
What should the African Union do, real quick?
African Union? Well, the African Union can do 4 things. Firstly, I think it can investigate the crimes in the Nuba Mountains and the Blue Nile, because without justice and accountability, there can be no peace. Secondly, it can take a comprehensive approach. The world has divided up into Darfur and Abyei and so on, and I think it needs to act together. Thirdly, we need to get humanitarian aid in all possible ways. And fourthly, we need to think about economic sanctions, financial sanctions, and arms embargoes on Khartoum.